Hi guys, my name is Hannah. Welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to talk about our favorite people on the internet, Uncle Tom and Auntie Pick Me, who are at it again with a new publicity stunt. Whatever this is. So before I go on to drive these two grifters, first let's talk about and discuss why white lives don't really matter. But before I get into it, I know the main argument is going to be, oh, what are you saying, Hannah, that you don't think white lives matter? No, that is not what I'm saying here. Of course, if a white person was dying unfairly, I'm going to feel bad for that person regardless of their race. The point is, and my main argument is, this white lives matter phrase is purely reactionary and racist. And I'm not exaggerating when I say it's racist, because this was literally coined by white supremacists in early 2015 as a racist response to the Black Lives Matter movement. Many white supremacist groups, such as the Texas-based one called Aryan Renaissance Society, helped popularize the White Lives Matter slogan. By 2016, even groups such as the Klan were also using this slogan. So before you start defending this phrase, you may want to consider who you're defending here. But before I get onto the video, please hit the like button and subscribe if you're enjoying this video and you want to see more of my content. And feel free to share to some people that you think want to see this video. Actually, here's a generous quote from the co-founder herself. "What happens to blacks in this country at the hand of law enforcement is none of our concern, other than to prepare to restore order and rebuild our neighborhoods, taking back our lands one community at a time. When the enemy destroys, we guard our town borders and make our homes white and great again." Rebecca Barnett, White Lives Matter co-founder. Okay, so is this who you're siding with? So understand this, White Lives Matter isn't a real movement. It is a mock version and counter slogan to the real Black Lives Matter movement. And if you don't know the BLM movement's history, here's a short recap. It was established in 2013 by these three black women, and it began as a social media hashtag after George Zimmerman was acquitted for Trayvon Martin in 2012. And as many other black people, I've personally known the BLM movement pre-George Floyd, and it was and still is an important movement that highlights the discrimination and racial inequalities that black people still face till this day. And it was mostly focused on police brutality as well as racially motivated done by civilians where the black victims didn't get the justice they deserved. And after George Floyd, it suddenly became worldwide. And at first I didn't understand why, but looking back at it now, it is clear to me that it must have to do with not only the fact that we had 4K footage, which is very rare in these incidents, but also everyone was bored because they were stuck in their house and they had less of a reason not to care. Unfortunately, its presence was as good as it was bad. Yes, we got President Trump, of all presidents, to say the victim's name, and the first time in forever, we got justice served. Well, that is unless Derek Chauvin gets parole and is freed in 3 to 5 years when no one's paying attention, but besides that, the point is, it wasn't all bad, and anyone who says it is, which I'll get into these guys soon, are being disingenuous either because they are ignorant or because they are racist. So if a movement is created solely as a reaction and a way at dismissing and undermining a movement whose purpose is to advocate against police brutality committed on black people, isn't that movement in of itself racist? Why not? It was literally created by white supremacists. I mean, you saw the co-founder's quote. What are the intentions of saying white lives matter when we advocate to make Black lives matter? And I saw a lot of people defending this by saying, you should ask yourself why the sentence white lives matter bothers you. Well, let me ask you a real introspective question. Why do you feel the need to say white lives matter or even all lives matter when someone tells you Black lives matter? Ask yourself this question if you're one of these people. Does it bother you in some way when someone dares to say Black lives matter? Is it some childlike jealousy of wanting to be oppressed as well? Because these people are being hypocrites by asking themselves why people are getting triggered by hearing white lives matter when they're the ones being triggered by Black lives matter in the first place. But I digress. The purpose of white lives matter is to undermine the importance of black lives, and that makes it a fake movement. And again, I'm not saying white people's lives don't matter in hindsight. That's not what I'm saying. But the truth is, there's a reason why when a visible minority we question whether it was racially motivated, but when it is a white person, we don't even begin to question it. And that is because white people have set themselves as the default. The whole point of white fragility is to describe why white people feel triggered and uncomfortable with the idea of acknowledging their race and privileges. It's because it's the first time they ever had to. What I'm getting at here is the movement is a whole parody, okay? It never existed prior to the BLM because it never needed to, and it still doesn't need to. It's the same as why White History Month doesn't exist. It's because all we learn about in school is white history. Why isn't there white student unions in schools? It's because most of our schools are white dominated, so the school's unions are automatically going to be white dominant. Do you understand what I'm getting at here? There is a clear distinction that white lives have always mattered. So the slogan, as I said earlier, is disingenuous, but not only that, is done as a shock value and attention seeking, which leads me to discussing our two favorite Black white supremacists, Kanye West and Candace Owens. You know what a Black person may hate more than a racist person? A self-hating, money-grifting, attention-seeking Black person who play the puppets for their racist counterparts. Kanye West, also known as the Lost Black Soul, you know, he's the incarnation of the Black people are the problem self-hating trope. He tried to excuse his blatant racist attention grab by saying, oh, well, Black Lives Matter is a scam. Okay, the BLM organization is a scam, and I always knew it was a scam. I stopped trusting them the moment they dissed MLK a while back, and I even roasted them in one of my videos, but BLM, the movement, the meaning behind the movement, the problem it addresses is very real. There are Black men and women who had entire lives of their own that have been taken from them because they were born looking like me and looking like Kanye and looking like Candace Owens, regardless of what these two may be seeing in the mirror. So to hear him say something that disrespectful to the lives lost is mind-boggling. Doesn't matter how many mansions the BLM organization buys, that shirt he wore still makes him the Black sellout that he is, and is a spit in the face on all the families of the Black victims that have been killed by these racist police officers and civilians. For someone who is craving change, he relies so heavily on speaking more than acting. And from one Christian to another, let me remind you that in Proverbs 6, 1 out of the 7 things that the Lord hates is a person who stirs up conflict in the community. And that is exactly what these two people enjoy doing. The fact that Kim Kardashian is doing more for our people than Kanye West is astonishing. And let me not even start on Candace Owens, also known as the token Black friend for every racist person. They are doing this for the attention. They are doing this for publicity stunt. Why Kanye West needs a publicity stunt like this? I don't know why, but he does it a lot. Why Candace Owens needed it, you may ask? Well, it was for her new documentary that she has coming out about exposing Black Lives Matter, for the lies that they told, which I don't necessarily have a problem with creating a documentary exposing the bad things of Black Lives Matter, the organization, but I do wonder what narrative she might be pushing to which group of people. People can advertise however they want. If that's how she wanted to advertise her new documentary, whatever. If that's how they want to advertise, so be it. But best believe I'm going to call them out on it.
Okay, so I feel like I need to reiterate my point here, but to drive it home, what I'm trying to say is Candace Owens and Kanye West often focus on stirring outrage to push an agenda and leave it out there with no actual impactful change done within the community. Yeah, Kanye decided that he will send the proceeds of the White Lives Matter shirts to help the Black community, and let's see if and how he does it, but it was just so unnecessary for him to participate in this Candace-like publicity stunt to raise money when he's a billionaire. You could have just publicly made the donation. You could fund the communities where Black abortions are highest, because what Candace and Kanye are ignorant to is that poverty is a major factor to Black abortion rates. These two identify problems but rarely offer the solutions. And if you keep playing the controversial character that loves to point out flaws without helping to solve those issues, you're not doing any substantial change except annoying the Black people living these statistics as a regular Tuesday. And people will probably comment things like, this guy. If you don't like it, actually do something rather than bitch about it. You're just as much of the problem as all of them. Okay. Well, Luke Yates, I'm 20 years old with 200 subscribers. All I have to help others as of right now is my voice. Once my brand is built big enough, I will use my resources and God's blessings to help others. As of right now, obviously I can't do anywhere near the same change or have the same impact as Candace and especially Kanye West could have. And that is if they use their blessings appropriately. Also, I'm more upset but not surprised with Candace Owens, yet disappointed with Kanye. He could be doing so much, yet he's unknowingly being used as a puppet by Republicans to push their agendas of black people this, black people that. Just wake up, Kanye.
This is pathetic, guys. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? She lives off of triggering black people into hearing her nonsense. That is the career path she chose to pay her bills. And it is very clear by her latest shorts. Look at the titles.
A look at the real problem that is happening, which is our culture, a celebration of perversity pitched to us as if it's diversity. It's not. It is not diversity that we are celebrating. It is perversity.
What are we talking about here? Music? Did you feel the same way when Miley Cyrus was doing this? Or what about her? And her, and her, and her, and her, and her. Why is it when a black person does it, you want to say these things? Why you think this is just attributed to black culture only? It's odd that she is associating perversion with black culture as though perversion isn't part of our society in general. But yeah, these women that I just showed, they don't seem black to me, yet you're not talking about them. And yet they are also participating in this perverse culture you're talking about.
I intend to undermine the movement. That's what I've been doing. I've been undermining the Black Lives Matter movement because I'm not an idiot. And it's clear that the result of the Black Lives Matter movement has been more destruction for black lives.
What are you talking about? See, like, this is my main question. Forget the BLM organization. Okay, forget. We're talking about the movement itself. All those people who died? In what way, Candace, did advocating for their lives that were lost unfairly left black people worse off? Maybe we can argue that the millions that were gone because, you know, we donated millions to the Black Lives Matter organization. Yeah, maybe we can argue that. But then again, governments unfortunately do this a lot, steal millions from people. I just talked about this in my last video. Mississippi is currently dealing with a $75 million welfare scandal. Welfare in of itself isn't bad, but the politicians and the people who are involved in stealing the money from that welfare program are bad. What I'm getting at here is the BLM movement is still a good social movement and we can still acknowledge it as such, all while we admit and acknowledge the corruption that took place within the organization of the movement.
It has stripped our communities further. The places where these riots took place are further impoverished. Black people did not become richer since the George Floyd riots. They actually factually became poorer. The poverty rates for black children and black adults has gone up.
Jesus, please help me find the source this woman is talking about, because what are you talking about? Just through common sense, I don't even know how that would be possible. I couldn't even find the source she was talking about. Like, where is the correlation here? I would love to hear the mental gymnastics that she would use to explain this and to find the correlation here. And if the source exists, I would like to see the mental gymnastics that source does as well. Black people didn't become poor. In fact, poverty among black people have reached new lows in 2019. That was like a whole argument right wings were using about how great Trump was and not actually racist, even though he has said very racist things.
So statistics do show that poverty has risen since 2019, but that is for all races. And, you know, it is not correlated to the Black Lives Matter movement, but it's actually correlated to, you know, the that made millions of people lose jobs.
But we can't argue that their growth in the racial wealth gap is very stagnant. And unfortunately for Candace Owens and Kanye West, who like blaming black people for everything, the reason for this stagnancy is because of colorblindness and our Western countries convincing us that racism has been abolished with slavery, yet their systems that were built to oppress visible minorities were never reconstructed to fit this racial equality narrative. Speaking up against discrimination that is faced by black people is something that passions me. And probably passions most black people anyway. My point is, you know, leaders like Martin Luther King, they inspire me. So I apologize if I was seemingly upset in this video. I had to rewrite and pray over this numerous of times because the first draft of this video was, dare I say, passive aggressive. It's pathetic, absolutely pathetic. It's just infuriating to me to see black people who live off of triggering the black community to benefit as the black token for whatever political party. They pay their bills by attacking, blaming, and condemning Black people. You are a puppet for extremists and you like that. You are okay with that. I wouldn't be surprised if these two orgasmed and were euphoric at the very thought of all the Black people they would trigger with this publicity stunt. Who does Candace Owens think she is? Because considering this...
And I was like, I would like a further explanation as to what you are talking about when you make that statement, because there was no abortion happening when we had slaves.
What was that, Candace?
When we had slaves.
Come again?
When we had slaves.
What do you mean by that?
Okay, I'm being facetious here. But in my opinion, I already stated my opinion, guys. This video is more half video essay, half reactionary, so let me know what you thought of that. Let me know what you thought of what I said, if you thought I missed something, if you didn't agree somewhere, and let me know. Let's talk in the comments below. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this week's video. Hit the like button, subscribe, and African mama slap the notification bell, and I'll see y'all on the next video when we're back on my channel. It's Hannah, and I'm out. I really didn't think I would post a video about this, but here we are. I'm so tired. I'm done. Okay, we're done. Bye.